Hello, and welcome to Replay Value. My Hero Academia is well regarded for its action music. You Say Run and all of its variants, Trinity, United States of Smash. Yuki Hayashi has done a fantastic job of composing memorable music that perfectly matches the tone of My Hero's action scenes. But there isn't a lot of conversation in regard to how the score is used in the context of the show. We can all agree that music and sound help to build a scene. A piano solo written in minor, played over some rain, is going to feel sad, just as much as the contrast between what we see and what we hear can create an unnerving sensation. The really powerful moments and their songs are the ones that people think of and remember, but a show's score is pervasive. Meaning gets attached to songs based on the scenes they were featured in, the leitmotifs being utilized to convey subtle connections and remixed to accompany changes. Hell, silence can take on whole new meaning depending on where and when it's used. So today I want to talk about how a scene has its meaning totally changed by a song that was used, and counter that with an example of how the soundtrack was perfectly used to heighten its tension. We're talking about the two most recent episodes from the third season, 15 and 16, specifically the Choco Float and the fight with Cammy. So I'll just say right off the bat that I read the manga for My Hero and thus went into this scene with certain expectations. The first scene in question is before the UA students leave for the provisional license exam. And I would say for the most part, especially the specific time in question of the girls chatting, the sound is a good match. It's got the fluffy sound effects that one would come to expect from a flustered character, and the lighthearted I Will Become a Hero track that's playing right now in the background. Ochako being asked about who she has a crush on, causing her to float as Mina, Toru, and Jiro press her for info is a fun scene that also keys us into the fact that Ochako's gotten much better at being under the effects of her own zero gravity. And the transition to a brief moment of silence is great. But what follows afterwards is where my problem with the scene comes to the forefront. The song that plays at this moment is Symbol of Peace, which has from its first introduction way back in episode 3 of the first season been connotated with All Might. Because of this track, the focus becomes Deku and his new fighting style, bringing him closer to ascending to All Might's position as the symbol of peace. It's not about Ochako's growing feelings for him, nor their relationship as Deku being someone who she admires. It's in the context of Ochako's rose-colored lens, sure, but that's not the information that's being conveyed here, at least not in the audio. I don't think that's a bad thing. I personally disagree with the direction, mostly because of how much his role as the successor is already beaten over our heads, but that's the meaning that they wanted to get across. But just imagine if this scene had stayed silent, a moment of quiet reflection for Ochako, or maybe like this. That's how I originally read the scene, much more focused on Ochako and her feelings, as were signposted earlier in the episode and in the previous one. Admittedly, I think the visuals in the manga also lend themselves to that interpretation since their eye lines are matched up, and Deku's muttering is a small panel compared to the 12 seconds it receives to get adapted. This scene is a great example of how much music can change in interpretation. It allows the scene in the anime to take on a new meaning while still capturing the original, which is great, even if the original meaning is downplayed immensely because of the direction the show chose to go with, which isn't so great in my opinion. But I don't want you to think I'm some kind of silence purist when it comes to adaptation, or stuck in my own headspace about how the score should be used in every scene. The fight with Cammy is a great example of how My Hero's anime adaptation really adds something through music. As Deku is thinking to himself how exciting this exam is, a piercing note plays until it's silenced by Cammy's acrobatic attack. It's a great audio transition, and introduces the character as an immediate threat, even beyond her taking out one of his targets. The music that follows is super unsettling, which obviously couldn't be done in the manga, and all of the interactions with Cammy in the arena are similarly creepy. And the music amplifies that with this deep cello and the occasional digital distortion. In the manga, she doesn't come off as creepy until she's got him pinned, but here, she's consistently that throughout. A song like The Threat of Offense and Defense could have been used here to convey the battle, but instead the music is here to reinforce how Cammy is affecting Deku psychologically, as her presence literally makes the music uncomfortable to listen to. But that's nothing compared to the perfection of Cammy disguised as Ochako. It starts off with this nice piano melody which makes you think that this is going to be a heartfelt moment. Ugh, it's so perfect. We had transitioned to more of a standard combat song when the other students attacked, so this moment isn't super weird tonally, but when the creepy tune comes in, it instantly throws us back to what we'd left behind only minutes before. Just imagine if the previous scene I discussed had used that light piano song and then brought it back here to undercut it. That would have been a really powerful moment, where the audio betrayed the audience as much as this visual would seem to. This feeling of unknown and threat, discomfort and creepiness is carried here mostly by the music. The visual direction here definitely doesn't hurt, but with another song, this interaction wouldn't convey those feelings properly, and that's something to be applauded here. Again, I want to stress that I don't think My Hero Academia has a fundamental failing in how it chooses to utilize Yuki Hayashi's score. On the whole, it does a great job, and even when I think a different track might be better, I can understand the rationale behind that decision. When working with an audio-visual medium, it can sometimes be easy to forget how the audio creates, subverts, or compounds meaning. And being aware of the sound design as a whole, but especially the score, allows us to understand the work more fully than if we simply focus on the visuals. And of course, seeing an adaptation that understands what can be added through a channel that does not exist in the original is always a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and comment with your thoughts, subscribe for more videos, and follow me on Twitter for my live analyses and future projects. Link in the description. We'll be back real soon with another video, but until then, thanks for watching.